again we are back with a new video. I know it is 20th of Jan and I haven't made a video since I don't remember a long time, but I still wish you a happy belated New Year, happy belated Makar Sankranti. So without wasting any more time, let's start with it. In this lecture we will be seeing some questions. On my right hand side you can see some questions, on the left hand side I will be solving them. Okay, so let's go with the first question. The largest angle in a triangle is twice the degree measure of the second largest angle. One third of the largest angle is 10 degrees larger than the difference of the other two. What is the measure in degrees of the greatest angle? Okay, so it's an easy question. First, let's break the first statement. Largest angle in a triangle is twice the degree measure of the second largest. So let's take, let the second largest angle be x. Therefore, as per the statement, what will be the largest one? It's twice. The largest angle is equal to 2x, right? One third of the largest angle. Now let's see. One third of the largest angle is equal to 10 degrees less than 10 degrees larger than the difference of the other two. Okay, so now difference, it is important. Okay, so I will be doing rough over here in this circle only. Okay, so first let's the sum of all angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. We know two of the angles are x and 2x, so therefore the third angle will be 180 minus x plus 2x. So the third angle would be 180 minus 3x, right? Yeah, so therefore the third angle would be 180 minus 3x, and they are saying larger than the difference of the other two. Now what they mean by difference is that x minus 180 minus 3x is equal to minus 180 minus 3x would be equal to plus 10 would be equal to 1/3 of 2x. Okay, so let's do it here. X minus 180 minus 3x. Therefore 2x by 3 is equal to 10 plus x minus 180 plus 3x, which is equals to 4x minus 180, obviously, right? So 2x by 3 would be equal to 4x minus 170. Therefore taking this over here and this over here, we will get 170 is equal to 12x by 3 minus 2x by 3. Okay, so 170 would be equal to 10x by 3. So now x would be equal to 170 into 3 by 10. Cancelling it out, 3 into 17 would give us 3 7s are 21, 3 1s are 3, which is equals to 51. Now what they are asking, what is the measure of the largest angle? X is equal to 51. Largest angle is 2x, which is equals to 102. Therefore answer is A, option A. Okay, so let me make space if you can't see it. Sorry, I'm not able to fit it in one frame, so you will have to need to copy it. You can't take screenshot. So question 2. Okay, a carpenter made a total of 20 chairs and tables with a total of 73 legs. If each chair has 4 legs and each stool has 3 legs, then how many chairs did the carpenter make? It's an easy question, right? Because it's basically a linear equation, or you can also take it in form of a simultaneous linear equation. But it's always easier to solve linear equations than to solve simultaneous linear equations, right? So we will take let chairs be x. Okay, we don't know the number of chairs, right? So let the number of chairs be x, and tables, therefore tables. Now you might be thinking these two are totally different things, how can we like take them in one variable, right? But you, if you concentrate over here, they have said total of 20 chairs and tables. So if for example, if there are 3 chairs, there would be how many tables? 20 minus 3, right? So if there are x chairs, therefore how many tables would be there? 20 minus x. Tables is equal to 20 minus x. It's just that simple. Okay, now they are asking if now they are saying that if each chair has 4 legs and each stool, sorry, it should be table, and if each stool has 3 legs, then how many chairs did a carpenter make? It's easy, right? So if one chair is equal to 4 legs, therefore x chairs is equal to 4x legs, right? Now if one table is equal to 3 legs, therefore 20 minus x tables is equal to 3 into 20 minus x legs. Okay, now they have also mentioned in the first statement only that a total of 73 legs. Okay, so now we know total number of legs with chairs is 4x, and total number of legs with tables is this much, 3 into 20 minus x legs. So when we add them, wouldn't we get 73? Yes, we would. So let's add them. 4x plus 60 minus 3x would give us 73. Now adding these two, we will get x is equal to 73 minus 60. I took this over here as well at the same time. So x would be equal to 13. Now they in the final statement they have asked us, then how many chairs did a carpenter make? We know we took chairs as x, so we got x right here. So the answer is option C. Okay, let's move to question 3. Yeah, now this one is a different question. Okay, so over here they have given us a total of 5 right angle triangles. Okay, those are ABC, ACD, ADE, AEF and AFG. Now they are finally asking us, they have given us AB and BC, BCCD, DE and EF and FG, and now they are asking us what is the length of AG. Find the length of segment AG. Okay, it's easy, all are right angle triangles. We know what is Pythagoras theorem, right? AB square by BC, AB square plus BC square should be equal to AC square, right? So we will apply that continuously 5 times so that we will get AG square, and then we will take a square root of it and we will get the answer. Okay, let's start. So what will be AC? First we will find that out. So AC square should be equal to 1 square matlab BC square plus AB square yani 2 square. Okay, so 1 plus 4 should be AC square. AC would be equal to root 5. Okay, we got it. Now second line, AC square plus CD square should be equal to AD square. Okay, now AC square we know is 5, CD square we know it is, what is it, yeah, 1. Sorry for the disturbance. Yeah, 1, and AD square we have to find it out. So AD would be equal to under root 6. Okay, now next again, once again, to find out AE, therefore AE square is equal to AD square plus ED square. ED square we know it is 1, AD square we know it is 6. 6 plus 1 is equal to AE square. AE would be equal to under root 7. Okay, again we got AE. Now AE square plus EF square should give us AF square. Now AE square we know it is 7 plus EF square is 1, which should give us AF square. AF we don't know, AF square. So AF is equal to under root 8. Now it's the final time. AF square plus GF square is equal to AG square. AF square we know it is 8 plus GF square is 1 is equal to AG square. AG should be equal to under root 9. Therefore AG should be equal to plus or minus 3. But we know lengths cannot be negative. Therefore, since negative is not possible, therefore answer is equal to 3, which is option B. Okay, now what I showed you is a common approach to this question. You can obviously take it like you can form an equation kind of, where you will basically take like AB square plus BC square is equal to AC square, and AC square plus CD square would be equal to like what you can say AD square, right? And AD square plus like that kind of. Okay, so you can always do that type of trick as well, but I showed you a common approach to this question. With this you might spot a pattern. Over here it's 5, 6, 7, 8, and then it reached to 9. So you might spot a pattern and might be able to form an equation for these types of questions. Okay, next question we'll begin with. Rationalizing the denominator of 1 by root 11 plus root 7 will result in which of the following? Okay, we know how. I might not have taught you this thing, but it's basically very easy. Okay, in this question I'll tell you how to do it. Okay, so basically first write the question, obviously, because without the question how can we find the answer? So next you have to take the conjugate of the denominator. Now you might be thinking, what is the conjugate? It is basically like if it is root 11 plus root 7, the conjugate is root 11 minus root 7. Okay, like if a number is 1 plus 2, the conjugate of it will be 1 minus 2. Okay, so just like that you have to multiply and divide with its conjugate. So effectively you are basically multiplying the fraction with 1, so it won't result any deviation in your final answer, as basically, okay, let me show you first. Root 11 minus root 7 by root 11 minus root 7. Okay, it's the same thing, we can cancel it out. So basically, effectively you are multiplying it by 1, but there is obviously a change in the fraction of fraction, what am I saying, in the numerator of this fraction. So now let's do it. So when we multiply 1 by this thing, we will get root 11 minus root 7 upon multiplying this with this. We know the identity, a plus b into a minus b is equal to a square minus b square. We'll apply it here as well. Let me erase this first. Root 11 11 minus 7, which is equal to root 11 minus root 7 by 11 minus 7 is 4. So this is our final answer because we can't simplify it anymore. Okay, so we can find our answer here. It's the D option. Answer is D. If you have any problem or you still didn't understand how to rationalize the denominator of any fraction, you can definitely ask me in the comment section below. I will always be willing to solve your doubts. So let's move to the next question with this. Question number 5. So okay, in this lecture we would only be doing 5 questions because it would get too long for this video, and the next 5 questions will be coming soon. Then we will be it will take a total of 3 lectures to solve this thing, this paper, because it's of 15 questions. Right here you can see only 15. So in this question we'll only be doing with 5 of these questions. The 5th question is, if log 3 to the base 10 is equal to 0.4771, then the number of digits in 3 raised to the power 21 is. Okay, so it's a logarithm question, which definitely I know, that's why I'm making this video. So it's a long thing. First we need to understand what a log is, so we will be skipping this question for now. I would make a separate video on how to find the number of digits in any of this you can say. So stay tuned for the next video, for a couple of videos later, where I would be making how to find the number of digits with a log of it. So we'll continue with the 6th question so that we don't actually mess this up, and you might have very much doubts if you see this question, because it's not a basic thing, that's why. So let's do the 6th one. I'll do the 5th question, and I'll tell you how to do questions like this more, but there would be a separate video for this because it's a long thing. So the 6th question reads, 20 liters of mixture contains milk and water in the ratio 5:3. Okay. After 4 liters of this mixture is sold, the milkman adds 4 liters of milk to this mixture. Okay. The ratio of the milk to water in the new mixture will be. Okay. So basically 5x. Okay, so let's take the first ratio in consideration, the 5:3:1 and the 20 liters of volume. So let the amount of milk be 5x, right? We know we have studied ratio and proportion in the earlier grades in 7th, 6th. So you might be knowing, that's why you are here, right? Because this is for 9th and you have already studied this earlier. So let the amount of milk be 5x. Let the amount of water be 3x. I've done this so that I don't need to write more again. So now that we have taken the milk and water parts, let's add them to get 20, right? Should be equal to 20. So 8x should be equal to 20. Therefore x should be equal to 20 by 8, which when simplified will become 2 by 5. Okay, so after 4 liters of this mixture is sold, the milkman adds 4 liters of this milk to this mixture. Okay, so now it's important because there's subtraction and addition at the same time. So now after 4 liters of this mixture is sold, so when 4 liters of this mixture is sold, how much of milk and water will remain in the container of that person, so of that milkman. So first let's find it out. So in every 20 liters there would be a ratio, the ratio of milk to the water would be 5:3. Therefore when 4 liters of when 4 liters of the mixture will be sold, then how much quantity of this is gone, the milk and water. Let's find that out. So definitely there would the ratio of the milk and water would be same, right? 5:3 would be 5:3 only. Even if we sell 1 liter, 2 liter, 3 liter or 20 liters, the ratio would definitely be same. So keep that in mind and let's move forward. We get, so in 4 liter the ratio would be same, again 5x and 3x. Let's take another variable. For 4 liter, okay, that's another section. This one was for 20 liters. Okay, for 4 liters what has been done? 5x plus 5y, let it be 5y. Let the quantity of milk be 5y and water be 3y. Adding them both we will get 4, because that much is how it is, that's how much it is sold. So 8y should be equal to 4, therefore y should be equal to 1 by 2. Okay, so now how much quantity of each of them is sold is 5y, which is equal milk over here, milk 5y, that is 5 by 2, and water 3y. So it is not sold separately, means another no different packets, one mixture, but how much of quantity each has been gone, that is 5 by 2 liters and 3 by 2 liters. Okay, so now that we know that this much is gone, this much was at the start, how much is remaining? That's the main point. So remaining would be, so the sold, wait, let me find the ratios over here as well. So the for milk it would be 25 by 2 liters, and for the water the quantity would be 15 by 2. Okay, so now the remaining, for milk it would be 25 by 2 minus 5 by 2, right? Obviously, because itane mein se itna gaya, then only so will be having this much, right? Minus 5 by 2, this is for the milk, which is equals to 20 by 2, which is 10 liters. Okay, then the next is sorry for the yellow line, it's a feature but it's sometimes disturbing also. Next, for water, the remaining of water, yani 15 by 2 minus 3 by 2, so it is 12 by 2, which is equals to 6 liters. Okay, so now 10 liters of milk and 6 liters of water is there in the mixture, right? You could also take remaining by equating means like same way, same like how we did in these two steps over here, but taking this instead of 4 and 20 you could take it 16, then also we would get this. But now that we have done this, now in the second last statement he says that he has added 4 liters of the milk to this mixture. So 4 liters of the milk, so now the new mixture would have 14 liters of milk and 6 liters of water. Now the new ratio would become, that's what they are asking, right? It took us such a long time to figure it out, means like wait though. So the new ratio would be 14 by 6, which is 7:3. Okay, so answer would be equal to D. Okay, so hope you like this video, hope it was interesting for you to understand, and if you found this helpful, please do like to this video and subscribe to my channel for the next upcoming 4 videos that I have planned and told you in this lecture itself. So the three, so next two would, sorry, not 4, it would be 3. The next 2 would be of this only, because I told you that in each lecture I would be doing 5, and so it would take us 3 lectures. So it is the first lecture of them. The remaining are 2 lectures. Then one of them I told you is of the 5th question, the log question, the how many digits are there in this number. So that's easy, but it will take a time, so it will need a separate lecture of itself of about 20 minutes. So hope you will be waiting for the lectures as well. So if you don't want to forget about them, please ring the bell icon so that you won't miss any videos. Thank you guys, bye.